What's up, everyone? I'm DJ Hamilton, and you're tuned into the DJ Sports Show, where we give you the latest, greatest, and most exciting sports stories in the world of sports. From interviews to having people's stories heard and told. This is the DJ Sports Show. Let's get it!
Good evening, everyone. I'm DJ Hamilton, and welcome to DJ Sports Show, a place where we discuss sports, share bold opinions, and untold stories that make a difference. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like and subscribe button and share anybody you know who loves sports. You listen on any audio platform or leave a 5-star rating, share anybody you know as we continue to try and grow the brand. Man, what a Super Bowl it was. As I'm recording this late night, 10:33 p.m. Eastern time here in my basement of my house here in Monroe, New York, as the Seahawks defeated the New England Patriots 29-13 for their second Super Bowl in franchise history. It was an interesting game, to say the least, especially on the defensive end. It was an all-out defensive fight on both sides of the football, especially in that first half between both teams. There was no offense. If you love offense, this was not a game for you. I'll tell you that right now. Strictly field goals in that first half. One thing about the Seahawks early on, I knew coming in, because they were my prediction coming into this game 2 weeks ago. If you listen to that podcast with me and Nicholas when we were doing our predictions, and Kenneth, I had the Seahawks win this game just because of their dominant defensive front line, their defense experience, Mike McDonald and his experience as a defensive coordinator, a guy who's a defensive specialist in the game, he showed why. This defense was straight out relentless. They were disruptive tonight against Drake May. They sacked the Patriots 6 times in this game. And we know teams that gotten sacked 6 or more times in Super Bowls have lost every game. In fact, they become the 19th Super Bowl history to be sacked 6 or more times and lose the Super Bowl. We saw that last year as well with the Kansas City Chiefs when they lost to the Philadelphia Eagles. No team that's gotten sacked that many times has ever won a Super Bowl. And I knew coming in that was going to be the case because the Patriots offense couldn't get anything going. They didn't score a touchdown until the last quarter. This was the second best scoring offense in the league, and they couldn't get anything going. I know they had 2 young offensive tackles on the left side, rookies, by the way, and Jared Wilson, I believe his name is, and also Will Campbell, who we saw why they're rookies, because we saw how inexperienced they are. The front 4 of the Seahawks defense, and they had a nickelback sometimes blitzing, such as Witherspoon. They did a tremendous job pressuring them, getting after them, and going against the inexperienced front line of that left side tackle of the New England Patriots. And Drake May at times, he looked like a young second-year quarterback. I know he was second MVP voting, but he did look like a second-year guy, a guy who's still very inexperienced. He looked really rattled out there at times. He overthrew his receiver sometimes. He had this one pass on the post route to Austin where he just completely overthrew the guy, and it was a wide open. That was an easy first down right there. I think it was late. It was in the third quarter, and I'm just like, man, you got to hit those passes. You cannot miss those type of passes in these type of situations, especially in the Super Bowl. You're trying to win a championship against this defense when you haven't been able to get anything going all night, and you finally have an easy one right there, and you couldn't connect on it. You got to hit on those passes. And then the Seahawks offense early on, they established it with the run game. It was Kenneth Walker III who broke open things for this team. They couldn't get anything going in the passing game. To me, they haven't named the Super Bowl MVP yet as we're currently recording this, but it's going to be Kenneth Walker III or the kicker, Jacob Myers. It has to be one of those guys. Jacob Myers scored the first 12 points of the 29 points for the Seahawks. They couldn't get anything in the red zone. Neither team. And what's even more appalling to me is that the Patriots couldn't even get a field goal. That's how dominant the Seahawks defense was. They couldn't even get within field goal range, this Patriots team. The number 2 scoring offense all season. This was a team that averaged 362 yards per game, 6th in the NFL this year. And they were held to just 331 in this game. They were held to 79 rushing yards and 252 passing yards. It was incredible to see what we were seeing from the Seahawks defense. defense that we saw, kind of similar to the Eagles defense last year. But even though I thought that Eagles defense was even more pressurizing in terms of their defensive front four because they didn't blitz at all. But it was incredible. I thought the defense was good on both sides. The Patriots just couldn't get anything going offensively. They're a young team. They have a lot of growing to do. And if you're Kenneth Walker, to me, he's one of the big winners of this game because he's going to be a unrestricted free agent this offseason. And he just had a big game. And I know he didn't score any touchdowns, but in terms of a guy who broke the game open for this team offensively early in that first half, and then again with some big gains in the second half, he had 2 back-to-back plays where he had 30-plus yarder rush and then 20-plus rush. He broke open this game for this team. And if I'm the Seahawks, I'm paying that. He stepped up in big chunk moments throughout the postseason when Charbonnet went out with his injury. He came up and stepped up big, and I'm going to pay that guy. This is a dynamic duo running back tandem you got. If you're the Seahawks, you try to capitalize on it. And then what about Sam Darnold? What a story. He's the only quarterback to play for 5 teams and win a Super Bowl. Talk about a story of resilience. A guy who was cast off. People doubted him. People were calling him a bust, making fun of him, saying, oh, he saw ghosts, and basically writing him off, saying, oh, this guy's done. We don't believe in him. Minnesota, he kind of started rejuvenating his career, but then he had a bad playoff outing in those last few games last year with the Vikings. They didn't believe in him. They let him go and took JJ McCarthy over him. Look how that worked out. And now he helped turn around a Seahawks franchise and propel them and get them to the Super Bowl and win a championship. This is an incredible story of resilience, of never giving up on yourself, similar to Bad Bunny at the halftime. And I love the halftime show. It was incredible. I love culture. I love diversity. I'm a welcoming person. I'm all for it. And Bad Bunny even said, too, believe in yourself, because he wouldn't have been where he is today if he didn't believe in himself. And I think the two kind of coincide with one another. We saw great examples of stories of resilience, of never giving up, of perseverance tonight between both these guys. Bad Bunny, seeing where he's at today, and then now look at Sam Darnold. You have to put respect on his name. He's a champion now. You can't disrespect his name no more. I know there's going to be some Jets fans who are sick because he was in an inept franchise that drafted him. Woody Johnson, an owner, and oh my God, Nicholas Mullick, big Jets fan. If you guys have listened to the show, he has repeatedly say that Woody Johnson needs to be gone. Sell the team, Woody. Sell the team, as he would always say. So, yeah, and then now look, and then he went to Carolina. He bounced around the Niners and then the Vikings, and now he's on the Seahawks. And now I think he's found a home in Seattle. The fans love him. He resonates with them. They love what he's done for this team this season. And everybody was questioning, can he do it in the playoffs? He hasn't shown us he can do it in the big game. I know he didn't have a dominant game today by any stretch of the imagination. He didn't really need to. The defense kind of carried and dominated, but he didn't turn the ball over today. He was smart with the football. I know he was getting blitzed a lot early in that first half. It was like 65% blitz in that first half. That's Darnold was getting blitzed by the Patriots defense, but he didn't make any ill-advised throws. Both quarterbacks early on, they were kind of reluctant to throw because the defense was really getting after them. And then the secondary was kind of like a suction cup, magnetic cup on these receivers. No receiver really broke out and had a tremendous game today. Stephon Diggs, they were playing a zone, the Seahawks defense, and they shut him down. They neutralized him. This is a guy who usually was known for breaking down zone defenses, getting big plays, opening up a game offensively. He was neutralized today. You didn't hear a peep from him today, except for like in the garbage time when he finally had a little catch for some yardage late in the game. But by then, the game was already over. But Sam Darnold, he controlled the game. He managed the game smartly, like a true veteran. He didn't make no crazy ill-advised throws that we kind of saw from Drake May, which we kind of expect from a second-year quarterback. Drake May had this interception where he completely just threw it to the defender. His receiver that he intended to throw the ball to was not even near the picture, and he just intercepted the ball. And he had a big fumble late in that third quarter that resulted in the Patriots, the Seahawks, getting a touchdown and going up 19-0. If the Patriots could at least got some field goal, like even a field goal or two in that first half, to score some points because they allowed the Seahawks to run the clock late in that second quarter. The defense should have tried to get the stops, get the ball back. Offense tried to push the ball down the field, get some field goals. They could have got some points on the board. And if Drake May doesn't fumble that ball that allows the Seahawks to score that touchdown, and they could finally get on the offensive end, because they started to score some touchdowns in that fourth quarter, like midway through the fourth. If they could have had some big breaks with the turnovers and get some points on the board with the field goals, because they couldn't get anything going, not even field goal range, like I mentioned earlier. You got to get points on the board. When you're playing in games like this against elite teams, especially like the Seahawks who've been battle tested all year, you got to put points on the board. Any points you can get. And that was the struggle for them. Their run game was basically non-existent too today. They couldn't get anything going in the run game. Ramondre Stevenson was held to 23 yards. Trayvon Henderson was held for 19 yards for a total of 52 yards. 42 yards between the two running backs. That's not going to get it done. Drake May led in rushing yards today. He had some big runs where he got some first downs, kind of trying to get his confidence going, get the offense going, but the offense basically was stagnant. They couldn't get anything going. And I just want to give a shout out to the Seahawks defense. They were smothering him all night long. And we got to give credit to Clint Kubiak, the offensive coordinator for the Seahawks. When he came here, I knew he was going to put Sam Darnold in position to succeed, open up things for this offense, and he helped kind of elevate Jackson Smith-Njigba to another level this year, Offensive Player of the Year. He was kind of neutralized too today. Both defenses today were incredible on the receivers. No receiver had a big game like I expected. Like I thought JSN was going to come out, maybe make a case for Super Bowl MVP. But hey, we'll see who ends up winning. I think it's going to be Kenneth Walker III. As I'm recording this currently before they announce it. But if it's not him, I'll be shocked if it's not the kicker. Maybe it probably won't give it to a kicker because the kicker has never won Super Bowl MVP. But Sam Darnold, he had no turnovers in this game. He took care of the football. He managed the game like a pro. And he went from a guy he was worried about seeing ghosts. Now he's a ghost buster. He's a champion. So put that on his mantle. Put that on the sticker. He's now a champion. And if you're the Seattle Seahawks, you're going to try to sign some of these guys next year. This offseason, you got Kenneth Walker. He's going to be a free agent. Rashid Shaheed, wide receiver, speedy receiver. He's going to be on the free agency market. Tyreek Woolen, the cornerback, is going to be on the free agency market. Hopefully, you have the money to kind of sign some of these guys because they were a big part of your success this season. Kairis Tonga. It's kind of hard to say some of these guys' names. He's going to be on the free agency market. Jalen Hawkins is going to be on the free agency market. Avon Kaysen, the edge rusher for the Patriots, one of their best players. He's going to be on the free agency market. So you got some key free agents on both sides with expiring contracts. Seahawks, if I'm you, definitely you got to re-sign Kenneth Walker III. That's a must. You have to. Don't let no other team pick him up because he was a crucial part of your success this season and in the postseason, especially when Charbonnet won out. If he doesn't have what the season he had in terms of rushing the ball, especially in the postseason in big spots, you're not in this position today. You probably don't even win this game because he broke up in the game offensively for you guys. He doesn't have those big runs. You guys don't even get those touchdowns. And yes, I know the Patriots, their offense made mistakes because he's only in his second season. He's gonna learn from this experience. He's gonna get better. He's gonna go back to the drawing board this offseason, watch the film, prove his footwork, his reaction time out the pocket, seeing the blitz, because he was getting smothered from both sides, not just the blind side, from the side that he could see too, and they were basically cradling him into a box. He was lucky enough to finding gaps sometimes to rush for the football, get a first down, but for the most part, he was basically cradled into a box, and he was forcing to turn the ball over or to get sacked and a loss of yards. He got sacked 6 times today. 6 times. So we got to give a lot of credit to that front line of the Seahawks. And then that secondary shut down the receivers. They couldn't get nothing in the open field. There's only like 1 or 2 big plays the Patriots got off today. But it was rare. Everything outside the lines, inside, you couldn't get nothing. And I also want to give a shout out to Mike McDonald, 3rd youngest coach in Super Bowl history to win the Super Bowl at age 37. Sean McVay and Mike Tomlin were the only other 2 to do it younger. They did it at the age of 36. So I want to give him kudos to that. And he's only in his second season with this team as the head coach. This is a guy who's going to be in the National Football League for a very long time. X's and O's this guy teaches on a game-to-game, week-to-week basis has shown throughout this postseason and throughout the season in general. Yeah, the Seahawks, you got a lot to be proud of. And John Schneider, talk about a president of operations. He put together that first Super Bowl Seahawks team back in 2014 that had Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll, Richard Sherman in the crew. Now, he should be having 3 if they don't have that goal line stuff at Malcolm Butler, that questionable call. I don't know what they were thinking at that time. One of the craziest calls in sports history, Super Bowl history. But he now was able to rebuild a new Super Bowl contending, Super Bowl champion team in this iteration of the Seahawks with Leonard Williams at the defensive front 4 line, with a Sam Darnold at the quarterback, with a running back, Kenneth Walker III, Charbonnet, with an elite wide receiver in JSN. And you have these guys who I think could be contenders next year and the year after if they can keep these pieces together and stay healthy. So, it's hard to win in any sport, but football, physical, contact, demanding sport, mentally, physically, it takes its toll on you. It's hard to be a dynasty. That's why when we see teams like the Patriots with Tom Brady and Mahomes and the Chiefs win back-to-back, the only 2 teams this century to win back-to-back Super Bowls, and Mahomes teams and Brady, we get like, whoa, this is true greatness, because we don't see that often in football. We don't see that at all. And to see Robert Kraft there and lose, especially after not getting inducted to the Hall of Fame, I know a lot of people who hate the Patriots are very happy right now. Some of my friends, they're very happy right now to see the Patriots lose in this type of fashion. So, yeah, I know a lot of people who are Patriots right now are hurting. And there's no guarantee you're going to get back because, yes, this was Drake May's the second youngest quarterback to ever be in the Super Bowl behind Dan Marino in his second season, who also did in his second season. And Dan Marino never went back. He never got back to the Super Bowl. So there's no guarantees. That's the thing about sports. You can be a young, thriving superstar, all the potential in the world. The league's going to be your oyster. You're going to be one of the best players in the league, probably for the next decade plus. But there's no guarantee you're going to get back to this spot. You got to cherish these moments. And I know Drake May is probably kicking himself, getting down himself like he should have played much better because he did not play great today. And it wasn't just him. The offensive line wasn't that great blocking for him for the most part of the game. The receivers didn't do a great job really getting open, creating separation because how stifling that Seahawks defense was, especially in the secondary. They were playing zone sometimes. And in that front 4, sometimes they threw the nickel over and had a 5th or 6th guys at the line of scrimmage pressuring that offensive line and getting after May. But, yeah, man, he'll watch the film this offseason. He'll get better from it. And I expect May to take another leap in terms of his footwork, reaction time out of the pocket, seeing the blitz, getting the ball out quicker, everything coming next season. Now that he has this type of experience, sometimes the best teacher in life, what we always say, is experience. Experience teaches you lessons that you can't really learn from anybody else. You see it all the time in life. There are some things people can always tell you and things of that nature, but you won't really know it and learn the lesson until you experience it yourself. And yeah, man, I just want to say, to me, the best part, the most entertaining part of the game was halftime. I don't know about y'all, but I love that Bad Bunny. Nueva Yo, hey, hey, hey. Man, that was culture at its finest, uniting people, bringing people together. This is what music, what sports, and what food do. They bring people together. That's why I'm all for. I love music since I was a little kid. I love sports since I was a little kid. And food, because it unites people no matter what culture, where you're from, ethnicity, race, gender, age, whatever. You can talk about it and not be divisive, not be against one another. That's why I'm not really a political person. I don't like politics, really. I know I try to keep up with the news and stuff like that, but this is what it's all about. You saw how united and happy everybody looked, the energy, the vibes. The set was amazing. The production, the quality I was watching on TV. I was recording it with my phone. I'm like, this is beautiful to see. And then seeing the vibrancy throughout the crowd, throughout the people dancing. Man, I wish I was there. I wish I was there dancing. And you saw some of the guest lists too. You saw Jessica Alba there, Karol G. I'm like, okay. Lady Gaga, I did not expect that. That was a shocker to me. But yeah, Pedro Pascal was there. That's what you want to see. That type of energy. To me, that was the most entertaining part of the game. The first half was a snooze fest. I'm gonna be honest. I was taking notes. I'm like, man, this reminds me of 2019 Super Bowl what 53 when the Patriots defeated the Rams 10-3. That was the boring Super Bowl I've ever watched. Luckily, this game was on that trajectory because when it was 12-0, I'm like, man, the Pats are really not going to score. I'm just like, come on, Pats, can we make this a game? And then at one point, Seahawks went up 19-0, and then I'm like, man, Patriots, are we really gonna go out like this? And then they start putting some points on the board and things of that nature. But the game was already over by then. And then when May had that fumble or the Witherspoon took it to the house, I said, yeah, this game's over. I said, this game's over. When he got sacked, that strip fumble, and he said, yeah, took it out. I said, this game's over. And at that time, it looked like the Patriots going to get a little momentum going on their offense because I'm like, okay, May's getting comfortable. He's starting to find his spots. He's starting to find receivers. He's finding gaps in the defense, rushing for the football, getting first downs. I'm like, okay, he's starting to get some pep in his step. And then I was like, that took the air out. Took the air out of the confidence for the Patriots fans, any hope of trying to come back. There ain't no Tom Brady on the other sideline. I know May's great, but he ain't Tom Brady. He ain't coming back down 28-3. And that ain't happening. But I don't know if they announced the Super Bowl MVP yet. But yeah, this was a defensive game by far for both teams as we're currently watching this. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this was another great edition of Super Bowl 60. I think the Super Bowl this year, the game was to me a C plus, but the halftime was A plus. The halftime to me was incredible. There's gonna be people over the internet trolls trying to say, "Oh, they couldn't understand it." Embrace culture. That's all I gotta say. So, but yeah, there's not really much else to really talk about this game. I mean, the biggest winners I want to say, Sam Darnold. He's one big winner. I think he's someone who was doubted, who people were saying this guy is not that good. People were saying he's terrible. Some people were saying he can never be a winner. And now he's a champion. And now he has an organization and a fan base behind him. And he's proven he can win now in the postseason and in the big games. So he can get that monkey off his back. He could play free, I think, going forward now that he knows he's a champion. He's definitely a big winner from the Super Bowl. Another big winner, Kenneth Walker. This guy came in, Charbonnet went out with the injury. He stepped into the plate as a number one running back after Charbonnet went out, and he delivered, was producing and productive for this team when they needed big runs, big gaps within the defense, find gaps within the defense, break for big yardage when the team needed it to get them within field goal position or set them up for a touchdown in the passing game. Because his running game, finding gaps within the defense, which he did today against the Patriots, he was strong. He had some great agility plays you saw where he's just hopping, juking, finding a gap within the defense of the Patriots where he broke them for some big yards. And establishing that run game kind of opened up the passing game for the Seahawks, which you kind of saw more of in that second half. You didn't really see it in the first half because both teams' defenses were so amazing in the secondary, but you saw it in that second half when he really started to dominate the game and they really started feeding him the ball, or like they did early on, but it really broke open in the second half. And then third winner, Mike McDonald. Second season coaching the team, and you're a Super Bowl champion. We got to give you credit, especially after all the fiasco a few years ago with Pete Carroll, how long he was there. Now you lead them to another Super Bowl. And it's a team, I think, if they stay healthy and bring guys back and re-sign some guys, they could compete and repeat next year. We don't know that's going to happen because only two teams have ever done that in this century, in the Patriots and the Chiefs. But this team has the personnel to do it and the infrastructure as well. And then some of my losers, man, I would have to say the Vikings. This is a team not even playing in the Super Bowl. You gave up Darnold, who, if you kept him with your team, you guys could have been in this situation right now with Justin Jefferson as a wide receiver, with the personnel, the offensive line you have, with the defense you have. You had a solid defense too. If you kept Darnold instead of JJ McCarthy, you guys could have made a run. But no, you guys didn't trust him. You guys didn't believe in him. You guys gave him up to draft JJ McCarthy, have him start. That's hey, that's tough. That's tough. I don't really want to say May's a loser because he's a second-year quarterback. He's a baby. He's just learning. He's not like he's a veteran who's been here or who's been in big playoff games before. It's his first year. They missed the playoffs last year, and they made the Super Bowl this year. Hey, they have a lot to be proud of. If I'm the Patriots, you have a lot to be proud of. Honestly, I want to say for a winner, I want to say Mike Vrabel. I know you didn't win the Super Bowl. I know that was your ultimate goal. I know he's going to give a deep message to the players in the locker room saying, hey, guys, I know it's not the result we wanted, but we have a lot to be proud of. And you sure do. I don't know how many teams or coaches, and only 2 other coaches I think I looked up that have ever made it to Super Bowl, or 5 that ever made Super Bowl with a first year with a team. Not many have ever done it. Mike Vrabel is a great leader of men. He knows what to say. He knows how to deliver a message. He is a leader. He stays calm and composed no matter if they're up or down. He loves football. He loves the game. And you see it when you watch him coach and the way he speaks, the way he carries himself. It's just unfortunate they didn't have the personnel to be able to go against the Seahawks defense. But this will be a learning experience. And I think he's going to be with the Patriots for a very long time. This is a guy I see him being there for the next 10 years or so. Hopefully he grows alongside, not Sam Darnold, Drake May, and he continues to develop and progress throughout his career. I think these two could be neck and neck. The new Belichick Brady for this era, for this new generation of Patriots fans. And I know this loss is going to make Drake May hungry to get exponentially better this offseason. I know he's probably going to take a week off or so, and he's going to get right back in the lab. Because when losses like this happen, when you get to this type of game, finally get to this level, when millions around the world are watching the Super Bowl, this is the ultimate Sunday. The Super Sunday, they call it. You get to this level, you don't know if you're going to be back, man. So, Drake May, I know he's going to be hungry. He's battle tested now. And now he knows what to expect come playoff time, come Super Bowl. He knows what the eyes are like, what that experience is like. Because, like I said earlier, the best teacher in life is experience. So, yeah, I want to know what you guys think. What did you guys think of the Super Bowl overall? What were some of your biggest surprises, takeaways? What do you think of the halftime show? Because I think the halftime show was more entertaining than the whole game, to be honest. The game was a defensive-oriented game. And there was a lot of blitzes early on, but that Seahawks experience, that pass rush, they stopped the run. They didn't let any big explosive plays really happen for the Patriots, the best scoring offense in the league this season. And they just showed why they should be feared in the NFC for a long time. Yeah, I'm going to try to look right now on who won Super Bowl MVP. I have a feeling it was Sam Darnold. Yeah. Well, I have a feeling it's going to be either Sam Darnold or Kenneth Walker. I know probably early on, probably like the kicker. I'm like, is a kicker really going to win MVP? But let's be realistic. They're probably going to give it to Sam Darnold. They usually always give it to the quarterback. Had no turnovers. He did throw for a touchdown to A.J. Barnes, and then he had over 200 yards. Yeah. So they did give it to Kenneth Walker III, as he should have. He was the most impactful player to win, of this game. So, yeah, well-deserved. He won the award as I'm looking at it right now on USA Today, live as it's happening. So, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, those are some of my thoughts on the Super Bowl. It was a defensive-oriented game. I didn't want to do this episode too long. I just want to give my thoughts on what I saw, the games, some of the big things that happened in the game that kind of swung the momentum. That, like I said, that fumble by May, not being able to get any points in the first half, not even field goals, that definitely hurt the team. The fumble at the end of the third quarter that allowed the Seahawks to get that touchdown to go up 19-0. That kind of put the game away, in my honest opinion. And then that interception late. Well, it really was not being able to get any field goals or any points on the board in that first half, and then that fumble that allowed the Seahawks to get their first touchdown of the game. So those were like the turning points of the game to me that really stood out to me. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the Super Bowl. It's late. I want to keep this episode quick, get it out, and go to sleep because my brother got work tomorrow. But yeah, I'm your host, DJ Hamilton. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Share anybody you know who loves sports. And if you listen to audio platforms I'm on, feel free to leave a 5-star rating. Share anybody you know. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the Super Bowl. It was a great Sunday. And yeah, it was a beautiful night of culture, football, sports, bringing people together. And that's what we love here. That's what we love here on DJ Sports Show and in general of life. So yeah, next week we got the NBA All-Star game. We'll be talking hoops now, mainly, but football season finally over. This was the most consistent I ever was this year and putting out football episodes. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I want to continue to get better and grow. But yeah, I'm your host, DJ Hampton, DJ Sports Show, and I'll see y'all next time. Have a great rest of your Sunday, everybody. Peace.